Yeah. Late nights, same room. Kastor's Korner. We're live. We're live. Yeah. We're live. Kastor's Korner. Back when the shelf was a thought in my head. Before the price talk, before what was said. Before the grow up, before they all dip. Before the love turned to what you could flip. Same space, new lens, I adjusted the view. Seen the hype come and go, seen what it do, so moved on. Some lost what was real, I stayed right here. Had to see how it feel. Korner live, yeah, we back in the room. Say it in the chat, let me hear it from you. Why you collect, what it mean, what it do? We don't chase hype, we just stay on the truth. Kastor's Korner, yeah, I see you show up. Same love, new lens, yeah, we building it up. Share the joy, never mind what it costs. If it's real, let it stay. If it's not, let it go. Yeah, now it's less about the shelf, more the reason behind what you kept, what you left, what you chose over time. Connecticut to Philly, Long Island we know. Seen the culture shift fast, seen the noise get loud. Everybody got a tape when they chasing the crowd, but I'm right here steady, never moved off track. If it don't feel real, I don't bring that back. Built this slow, now I stand on its own. When you step in the room, yeah, you already home. Korner live, yeah, we back in the room. Say it in the chat, let me hear it from you. Why you collect, what it mean, what it do? We don't chase hype, we just stay on the truth. Kastor's Korner, yeah, I see you show up. Same love, new lens, and we building it up. Share the joy, never mind what it costs. If it's real, let it stay. If it's not, let it go. It ain't what it's worth, it's what it mean to you. Not the price on the box, it's what you've been through. Different paths, same spark when it start. Yeah, we all came in with the same heart. Kastor's Korner, Korner, Korner. Oh, Kastor's Korner. Yeah, we're live, we're live, we're live, we're live. Kastor's Korner. We're live.
Hey everybody, welcome to another live edition. It will not go 3 or 4 hours like last week, but we appreciate you joining us last week. It was a lot of fun with DJ and Jesse. This week, I want to get right into it because I think it's going to be a lively discussion. I have known our guest tonight for a long time, probably close to as long as I've been doing this. He has written a lot of things. He has owned a lot of things. And I've been saying this all week to people as I describe my friend Chip here. He is the guy I go to when I have questions about toys and comics. He is like my historian as far as it goes to this. So I appreciate him taking the time. He's got a great eBay store, StarBase72. Check it out. All the links are down below. So without further ado, let's just get right into it. Welcome.
Hello, my friend. How are you?
Good. This is your first show. I want to put that out there. Like, this is the first time you've done a podcast, a YouTube show. Like, this.
I haven't even ever listened to a podcast. I'm sorry to say, but it's not something that I've ever done. And I've certainly never been asked to be a guest. I thank you so much for that. I don't know why people would want to listen to me talk, because the only people I talk to locally aren't, nerds like you and I, so their eyes start to glaze over after about 2 minutes of me talking about, whatever. So I really appreciate it. This is going to be fun.
I mean, I've bought stuff off of you. We've talked toys, and in all honesty, yes, your toy. Sorry, we're going to have, we're going to have chats too that are going to come up. One of our friends, Derek, says, wait, my toy guru has a guru. Yes, absolutely.
Well, we've known each other for, it's been 25 years.
Yeah, at least, because
a long time.
We were talking before I hosted a site, and I've had the site for 20 years. So,
well, I had the Bruce Timm archive in 97. So it has to be, it's close to 30 years.
Close to, yeah, because I started
long time
around then. So, yeah, I think I don't like, there's just so many things swirling. I'm like, oh, I got this, and no, it's still here. Yeah, my most recent thing from you is I got my Iceman
Oh
shield.
yeah, the
Shield.
extra. Yeah, I happen to have an extra shield insert set
Yeah.
for that.
So, so it's like I go, hey, I'm gonna be looking for this in the next year, and you're like, hold on a second, I have it, and I'm like, wait, I wasn't ready. I just wanted you to keep an eye. Like,
No, but it's
okay,
me, man. I'll
yeah,
hold it for you. I don't care.
yeah, no, I mean, you bailed me. Like, you also surprised me, Thundercats, and I got the Joe base from you. Like, so
That's
we're not
right.
gonna talk
Yeah.
about my collection, but I want to talk about like you. So
Okay.
I usually start off with like, why would you do online stuff? Because a lot of people I do have been doing YouTube stuff. But like, what got you into sharing? Because you did write, you wrote for websites, you were a contributor in some places, you had archives of materials.
Action Figure Insider. Shout
Right.
out to Dan Pickett, Jason Geyer.
Yeah,
Love those
love Dan.
guys.
Yeah, love them
Yep.
too. So, but there's a different kind of mechanic, I think, for people like us to kind of share what we do, because it's not always socially acceptable to kind of do that stuff, or we get a little flack for it because we're grown men and we like to play with action figures or buy.
Right. Yeah. Well, I think that, I mean, thankfully the internet came about because just like everything else, whether these days they can spin it positive or negative, where you find like-minded people and you're with your tribe, even though they're not anywhere around you physically. So,
Yeah.
and it was for me, technically, I've been online since 1984.
Mhm.
I started with local Usenet groups that originally from Central New York that were around there. I was lucky enough to have an uncle who was in the Navy, and he was a little more technologically inclined than the rest of our family. So, and because my mother, it was my mother's brother, because he was into that stuff, and my mother was also a little more technologically inclined. Um, we had our first VCR in like 1979 or 1980. We had our first video camera in like 81,
Mhm.
So we had a home computer, Trash 80, Radio Shack color computer, and then Commodore VIC 20, 64, 128. I mean, when I went to college as a freshman in 1990, I brought my Commodore 128 with me.
Yeah.
So it's, I've always leaned towards that. And then, of course, local bulletin boards, my uncle turned me on to that in 84. So I was chatting with people online in 84. And then, of course, Usenet in 89, 90 with Rec Toys Misc. That was
Yeah.
the toy group. Rec Arts SF Star Wars was the Star Wars group. And from there, then when the web started showing up in 93, 94, it just evolved. And then you find people. I mean, we were on Raving Toy Maniac and
Yeah.
all those early sites. I mean, all of a sudden you're like, wow, there's other people I can talk to about this that won't just shut me out, which unfortunately in high school, that happens.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, I mean, it was just a natural evolution of things. And, when you share something that's passionate to you and other people are really interested and you can hold their attention, I mean, it's personally satisfying and it's fulfilling of a life of maybe not getting that validation that there are other people that enjoy this stuff as much as you do. So,
Yeah, and I think for me, it's funny as I've been talking to all these different people, and kind of highlighting their journey in doing all this stuff. I've noticed that I feel a little lucky because we have a group of about 4 guys. One of them commented and said hi. Derek said hi to us earlier, and
hello, Derek.
our little group of 4, like, we get together. Like, I've got to meet up with them tomorrow, do some swaps, do some pickups, drop off, stuff like that. We joke, my partner, she'll joke sometimes and be like, you going to do your drug pickups, drop offs? Like, yeah,
That's
we're going to go meet
exactly
in the
what it
parking
is.
lot. Yeah, in the back of the
And
parking lot. Yeah.
nerd crack. Yes.
And I'm lucky to have that. But I think the internet has also given us a wider reach to kind of find people and get close to people and trust people and let people in. So
Sure.
I think
It's
it's
like
been
I've never
great.
met you, but I know you.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We
You're a
talk.
friend of mine,
Yeah.
but yet we've never met. And
Yeah.
I have probably 30 people like that online that I've known for a long time.
Yeah.
But because of my various hobbies now, I consider them friends, but I've never met any of them.
Yeah.
Some I have, but most of them I haven't.
But it's nice. It's a nice feeling to be like, I can, and sometimes I could lean on people. Sometimes I can talk to people. Sometimes, because we've talked, and sometimes it has skewed like, oh yeah, what's up with toys? But then, what's going on with you? We've had those moments too.
Again, you're a friend,
Yeah.
but the gateway was collecting.
Yeah. So so you go from, chatting about stuff. You've been a columnist, correspondent for Action Figure Insider. What kind of got you into like
being a nerd?
No, more of the expensive side of it, because like we all collect, and I think growing up in that period of time was a boom for us because there was just so much material for us to grab onto.
Sure.
But now you graduated, and you have for years now, into not only getting just the general things, but you definitely get some of the you've had higher ends, you've had archives, you've had materials, production materials, things like that. What got you into doing that kind of stuff? What gravitated you towards that? Because not a lot of people do that.
Like the pre-production side of it?
Yeah, the pre-production and the materials, because I know you've gotten posters, you've gotten, catalog, you've had a little bit of everything over the years.
Well, I mean, I think for most of us, Star Wars is what brought all that about, because Star Wars wasn't just toys. Star Wars was everywhere in culture.
Yeah.
It was meal toys, and it was coloring books, and it was videos, and I mean, George Lucas was a genius because he knew that merchandise, if his product was good and popular, merchandise was going to rule the world. And he was really the first person to do that, because, I mean, the reason why 3 toy companies passed on Star Wars is because space toys didn't really sell.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't a mover in retail, and Star Wars changed that. So, I mean, now it's commonplace where Spider-Man isn't just action figures, it's coloring books, and it's cartoons, and it's, everything else too. One of the favorite pieces that I've ever had is the Hulk and Spider-Man toilet paper. That is the ultimate frivolous retail thing that anything could have. I mean, it's toilet paper, and yet there's a comic story as you unroll it of Spider-Man and the Hulk. It's just, I mean, it's ridiculous. So, I think that for me, coupled with early on in the early 90s, thanks to Usenet, I got connected with Gus Lopez and Chris Georgoulias and my great friend George Emmons. These guys were into Star Wars collecting, and yet things would pop up about pre-production stuff. And it's like, okay, so now not only is there toys and comics, which I loved, and then all the ancillary stuff like coloring books and whatnot, but there's also stuff from how the stuff is actually made.
Yeah.
Original comic art. You can own a page that every comic was produced from.
Yeah.
So it just like, it opens up another level. It's like, playing a role-playing game. There's all of a sudden you unlock a door, and there's a whole nother dungeon you can wander through. So, it's really amazing. And what I tell people nowadays is they're like, wow, this is a thing. I'm like, everybody collects something.
Yeah.
Even if it's the cliche, like a woman collects shoes. Well, it is a collection. She can't wear every pair of shoes at the same time. Guys can't wear 20 watches at the same time.
Yeah.
I mean, I even did that when I was in junior high school. I had 12 Swatch watches. That's a collection.
Yeah.
I mean, you just happen to wear them, like hats or shirts or, all that kind of stuff.
But what like you refer to it as like unlocking a dungeon in D&D. What not a lot of people would walk into that new dungeon. Like you walked into that pre-production, and
well, that's passion, though. You know how it is. That's passion. You have to have a passion for something to really get into it and want to absorb any new information you can get. I mean, That's like that with anything. The people that are the best at anything in life. I mean, I'm a huge golf fan. Scotty Scheffler's the best in the world is because when he was young, he got a passion for golf, and that's where he was, and that's where his focus was, and that's why he's the best now because he has a passion for it, and that fuels him. I mean, that's how you are with collecting, and me too, and all the people that we know online. They have a passion for it.
Was there a moment when you were a kid that you felt that fire like start? Was there a
Mhm.
particular
I
what
can
was it?
pinpoint the exact time. We were family vacation. We were visiting my uncle in Philadelphia. Excuse me. And he goes, he said, Chip, he might he might like to go into a comic book store. Has he ever been into a comic book store before? And my mother was like, no. So it was, near, I don't know if it was a coffee place or something that he usually went to. And I went into a comic book store for the first time, and he goes, just pick out, some comics, and I'll buy you some comics. And they had 3 for $1 boxes, and I remember picking up Fantastic Four when John Byrne was on the title, and it triggered something that I was like, yes, I'd like these, and I'm like, don't I have comics at home somewhere? And my mom was like, yeah, my dad and I have bought you some stuff in the past or whatever. And she said, I'll get them out. She goes, I think I have them. I don't know why you don't have them. And it was, I was reading them on vacation. And then at home, she brought me this little pile of maybe 10 books.
Mhm.
And there was a Spider-Man book. It's Spider-Man 189 with Man-Wolf, drawn by John Byrne. And I was like, John Byrne, I said, he also did these Fantastic Four books. And
Yeah.
I started to, make a connection that there was something bigger than just the one thing I was looking at. Um, and of course, I mean, when I saw Star Wars, like everybody else, I mean, I saw it in late 1977. So it kind of made me a little more interested in something like that. Whereas when he said, has Chip ever been in a comic store? Do you want to go in one? I would have said no if Star Wars hadn't freaked me out like everybody else. So I would say Star Wars was probably the galvanizing thing. I mean, I know I've always liked like robots and stuff like that because I had Micronauts
Yeah.
before, but that was, I think, more of my parents wanting me to play with something creative because Micronauts, you could take them all apart and
Put 'em together.
interchange them with other toys.
Yeah.
So I don't know if she thought that would be, more for me because I used to draw when I was a little kid and stuff like that. So I've always been creative. So whether or not she thought that would spur my creativity more,
Yeah.
I don't know. But between that already being predisposed for something like Star Wars, and then Star Wars hit me like a ton of bricks, and then going in a comic store for the first time, my evolution was exponentially up.
Yeah. I remember for me, you just unlocked something for me. I remember my family was trying to get me into toys and stuff. And I have vivid memories of, I can't remember what the name, you'll know it. I can't remember off the top of my head. It's the one the Four Horsemen try to revive with the guy that can flip the torso from blue to
Power
orange.
Lords.
Power Lords, that's what it was. I remember they got me the Power Lords. I remember getting Sectors. I remember them being in the house, but not feeling anything about them. Like they were just there.
Yeah, you didn't actively play with your toys.
And then He-Man hit for me.
Mm.
And there was just something different that just hit. And then it was off to the races because it was He-Man, then Transformers, then Thundercats, then Silverhawks, then G.I. Joe. Because G.I.
Weren't
Joe
the
was,
80s a great time for toys?
yeah. The emotional damage they've done to us over the years. Jesus.
Damn it.
So, you get that, you start finding this stuff. And I know that like every collector, your collection has, shrunk and grown over the years. You've made choices, things have gone, things have come in, things have just passed through you in some ways, to get to other places.
Sure.
I want to kind of touch on, because you have a pretty impressive shop now. It's on eBay. And what was that like for you to kind of go, you're a fan, and I know you've always sold and traded and worked on this, but going from selling, just being a collector that trades and sells and kind of moves things, to being a store owner. What was that kind of switch for you to be like, I can make this work?
Well, I mean, I've done it. I've been on eBay, I think, total since '99. The current account I have goes back to 2004, so I'm not sure if it was just a change or I had to get a new account or whatever that was. I don't know. I can't remember. But I've been on eBay a long time. As far as the switch to wanting to do it full time, and have it be my only source of income, when COVID hit, everything exploded, as you know.
Yeah.
But even before that, it was already trending up, obviously, with the Marvel movies, comics, first appearances started blowing up in price. And I mean, I've always been a numbers guy. I've been good at math.
Mm-hmm.
My mother was a math teacher. And I was interested in how the market was performing in the hobbies that I was interested in.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, being into pre-production stuff early on, not desensitized, but you get to know that, oh yeah, that's going to go for a lot of money when something pops up for sale. So in seeing every month what Heritage and Golden and Hakes and all these big auction houses, I mean, I would read the auction reports every month and I'm like, there's a lot of money in these hobbies.
Yeah.
Like a lot where the average person's going to go, really? And they do, because I still tell them about that today.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, do you know that there are comic books every month that sell for 5-6 figures? And they're like, no. Well, they do. So I said, you know what? I don't need all that money. I just need a little bit.
Yeah.
I need a little bit because, unfortunately for me, I didn't really work hard when I went to college, so I didn't do well. I didn't work hard when I wasn't in college, so I just worked retail.
Yeah.
So I never really made a ton of money. And I'm like, you know what? I know that I can make enough money now where I don't have to work for anybody. I don't have a degree. I don't have I don't have a huge skill set other than my experience being online, which is, minimal compared to people that have degrees. So I was like, you know what? I only need a little bit of money to live comfortably and not have to work for anybody. So that's what I set out to do. And I mean, it's been probably about 10 years of actively selling online where it would make a difference. And then I got to a point where I just started to pour more money into it while I was working retail. And eventually it eclipsed that level where I had enough stuff online that it was bringing in enough money per week that I'm like, why am I working retail for $500 a week when I'm bringing in $750 to $1,000 with my business?
Yeah.
I could just cut that out and then build. And that's what I've done since then. So it's really been nice. I mean, I've been, very fortunate that I can do this. I'm fortunate enough to have built up a customer base where, I mean, bills get paid. As long as bills get paid, that's all I really care about. And I just go from there.
How's it been for you as a collector to because I've seen the books that you've brought in and I've sat there and go, I don't know if I could let that go if it walked through the door for me. What's it like for you as a collector to kind of refocus your priorities that way? So
It sucks. It sucks. I want to keep, there's so much stuff out there that, as much as we've collected stuff, comics and toys primarily, and for me also video games, as much stuff as there is that we know, there's a lot more that we don't. I'm constantly seeing things that I'm like, wow, I've never seen that before. It's cool. I want it. I know I can't have it because you can't have everything. As Stephen Wright once said, you can't have everything. Where would you put it? So there's so much stuff out there. And especially now, all hobbies have gotten so expensive. You have to focus.
Yeah.
So, I also think it's helped me in the fact that I can't keep everything that I get in, as cool as some of the stuff may be, because for me, part of the thrill is opening up the package.
Okay.
You open up something new and you're holding it in your hands. It's cool, especially a comic book. Like, I mean, I get comics from the 40s and 50s all the time, stuff I've never seen before. I'll read it. I'm like, this is neat. You know, even stuff that has nothing to do with anything that we're interested in.
Mhm.
I won some, it was an auction house that had comics from the 40s and 50s. And I wanted to try and win the comic lots that they had. And then they also had like paper lots that had comics in them.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, if I win it for this much, I know the comics are going to cover it. And then I'll have all this other stuff that most of the time I didn't even know what was in there. It was just spread out on a table. You know how auction houses are. And the stuff is just, it's amazing to me, first of all, that some of this stuff survived. And some of the stuff is just, it's cool to be holding it in your hands. Like one lot had an insurance policy from 1916 for a husband and wife. It had 2 certificates in the envelope, $2,000 payouts for each of them, life insurance. And I'm like, this is crazy. This is somebody's life. And it was all stuff like that. It had library cards and just, I mean, it's history. You're looking at history. Yearbooks from like 1908. I mean, you know, and it's like, it goes in effect to comics too, because comics, it's not just the comic and the story and the art, it's the ads.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, you open up a comic from the 80s and there's that Mile High Comics ad with the yellow page that, you know, it was in thousands of comics and everybody has seen it. And you look at the prices and you're like, oh my goodness, I can't believe it.
Yeah.
It's history you're looking at. And then for us, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Nostalgia is history from when you were younger and you had less responsibilities and, you know, you enjoyed life a lot more because you didn't know about life. So this is what, you know, it filled, I mean, for me, it filled a lot of my life. I mean, there was family and then there were comics and toys.
Yeah. We got an old friend from AFI boards, Joe Acevedo, is saying hi.
Joe, how's it going, man? All right. Awesome.
Yeah, I think that, yeah, I just got, I think it's Uncanny 131.
Yes.
And when I opened it up, like all the ads for all the things that you can send away for, you know, muscle, you know, build your muscle and get this utility belt and like 2 pages.
X-ray specs.
Exactly.
X-ray specs.
The stuff. And that was 80s. Like they were still doing that then. And so I think there's just something about like taking it back in a different time. To really,
like I said, it was a simpler time in our lives because we weren't adults.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's fun to kind of look back at some of that stuff.
Sure. Sure.
What's it been like to kind of, I think one of the things that people think is easy about it is because you hear it all the time. You see all these TikToks. I see the TikToks. I see Instagrams that are like, you know, all you have to do is you got to hustle and you got to just keep going to garage sales and you got to keep going these and you got to flip and flip and flip and flip. And people think, oh, that's easy. On Saturday, I'll just go out and I'll drive around and I'll find tag sales and I'll do whatever. I know from tracking down specific things or trying to find pieces that I'm looking for, it is not as easy as just going out and finding the stuff. So,
all right, I know how to respond to that. Okay. Gary Vaynerchuk is someone that I've followed for quite some time now. And it's almost like a fake it till you make it kind of thing.
Yeah.
He talks about mug life. And mug life for him was he went to a garage sale. I mean, people sell mugs for 50 cents.
Yeah.
And people collect mugs, which he found out about. So he was buying mugs for 50 cents, $1 and selling them for 20, 30, 40, $50. It wasn't something he was passionate about. He was passionate about baseball cards.
Right.
But he kind of fell into that as, okay, I can make money at this, even though I'm not passionate about it. There are things I get in that I think are cool, but I'm not passionate about it. If I was a millionaire, I'd keep the stuff, but otherwise it's easier for me to let it go.
Yeah.
But again, it's something else that you learn about that it will help you get the stuff you're passionate about, but it's easy if you have the passion to learn about stuff to make a profit.
Yeah.
because all of these people, that's how, I mean, I know that there are women out there that are making thousands of dollars a month on Poshmark.
Yeah.
Because they know vintage clothes. And it might not be a passion of theirs, but it's something that they know. And they know they can make money at it, which is different from being a collector like you and I with comic books, where you buy a collection and you know that you can keep your stuff that you want and yet sell the rest for a profit.
Yeah.
This is learning about something that you're not passionate about, but you know you can make a profit, which is different.
But I think there's a perception that like you can just jump in. I don't.
I think you can, though. I think you can.
Okay.
I think you can, because people are always going to sell stuff. People are always going to sell stuff, and most people are of the mindset that if they have a pile of stuff and you have a wad of cash, they're going to want to deal with you. So you can go to any kind of garage sale and look at what's there, and it's almost like an instinct to say, I've never seen something like that before. And if it's $1, why not take a chance on it? You know, I've learned about things like that. Like, I didn't really know a lot about Hot Wheels. And it happened to be a guy that I was buying a big bunch of Atari games from. And he goes, so you buy, what else do you buy? I'm like, I'll buy anything. So he said, well, he goes, I'll contact you tomorrow. I'll rummage through my garage. And he said, yeah, he goes, I got these Hot Wheels here. And I looked at it and I was like, wow. He said, yeah, he says the case says it's from like 68 or something. Now, I didn't know anything about Hot Wheels, but that instinct kicks in that like, okay, it's old. I don't know about it. And I'm like, how much do you want? And he said, I don't know, about $75. And for me, that wasn't a lot to throw the money at it. And if it panned out, great. And if it didn't, great. They might have been worth $5. I didn't know. I didn't even know what was in the case. He just said it was full of cars. Excuse me. They were full of red lines. And as a collector, if you know Hot Wheels at all, you know that red lines and treasure hunts are the two phrases you need to, you know, perk up about. And they were all red lines, and I probably made $5,000 or $6,000 off those.
Jesus.
And I didn't even price them. I put them up for auction because I knew that they were in nice shape, and I knew they were red lines, and boom. So, but now I know.
Yeah.
So it was something that I'm not passionate about, but I was like, you know what? I could probably make a profit with it. I don't know, but it's not like I was shelling out $1,000.
Yeah.
So you find out. So I think that it is easy to do that. If you go to a garage, especially garage sales, you know, people would just want to get rid of stuff.
Yeah.
You know, you have a couple of older adults that aren't, you know, they're not, you can tell they're not collectors because otherwise some of the stuff wouldn't be out on their garage sale tables. And you just buy it.
I'll be honest with you. The places that I've gone and seen stuff like that, the toys, for some reason, especially action figures, they know something, and they're not usually willing to kind of move on them. Like,
and they're usually wrong.
And they're usually wrong to an extent, but there's usually a diamond among the coal in that box.
Sure.
And you're like, I really want that thing, but I don't want to pay for all of those things because it's too high. It's
right. But if you're going to start this stuff, it is easy to just go to 30 garage sales in a weekend and pick up random stuff and start. Because you have to know. I mean, the reason why we can do it is because this is stuff we're already passionate about.
Right.
I can eyeball pretty much any video game, comic book, or toy and know if it's worth it. But if I was just starting out, I could go to a place where there's a big box of action figures that's 50 cents each. And if I want to try it, I can probably buy all those and either fail or be successful, but it doesn't cost me anything to do it. And then I know, okay, next time I'll do postcards.
Okay. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So anybody can try to do it and try to get into it. It depends on what your drive is. You know how it is.
Well, I was going to say that the other side of that is the drive to do it. Like when you said, yeah, just on a weekend, go to 30 garage sales. And I'm like, I don't know if I have the energy for 30.
Well, but that's if you want to start doing it, if you want to try to start doing it. Right. And that might be the only time you need to do it. And you're like, this isn't for me.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and I'm still in the acquiring mind state. I'm not in, for me personally, like I don't have it in me to do it. And we've talked about this, and I don't know if I talked about it on the show, is that, you know, I had a little bit of a taste of like the buyer seller thing, because I hadn't sold things in a long time. Like, I think it would have been about 12 years since I'd really sold bulks, like big stuff, not like just like one or two things here and there, where I was selling off the bulk of my comics. And I sent you a list and you were like, yeah, these are mostly, you know, 50-cent dollar bin stuff. It's harder because we're, you know, I'm in, you know, New England, you're down south. There's a, you know, to get those to you, it would have been too hard for what they were. And so, you know, I sent out the list and I got bites right away. I had people calling and doing all these things. And the minute that those conversations started, because I knew what I was doing, they're like, well, we want to take a look through. And I said, no, I inventoried them. Here's a PDF. It's like 40 pages long. Every book categorized, boxes are labeled. It's all set. You know, if you want to see condition, I'll take pictures, whatever. They're like, no, but we want to go through them individually. And I go, you're not going to come to my house and go through 30 long boxes individually. I'm sorry.
And then leave without buying them.
Right.
That's another thing. It's wasting your time.
And they were like, okay, well, can you tell us what the keys are? I go, no. The opening to the conversation was, it is a bulk buy. Give me your best price for them. There's no keys. There's no keys in this collection.
Sure.
And they didn't believe me. They genuinely didn't believe me. And that was the funniest thing.
Yeah. And I think that's, I mean, look, some people are like that. And also some people are more visual and some people are more physical, hands-on.
Yeah.
Whereas they might want to flip through just to flip through, you know, and I mean, I'm sorry you had to, you know, deal with that, but I get it. I mean, unfortunately, there's tons of different people out there in the world. And one thing that I've noticed in doing this, the more I've ramped it up and the more personalities I've had to deal with, I mean, you develop a skill to deal with, you know, schizophrenics and stuff like that. Sometimes it's difficult. I mean, you know, sometimes there's people that there's no pleasing them.
Yeah. And that was the thing. It was like, no, I know what I have. Like, I know what I have.
Yeah.
And I said, you know, the average, because I did comic base. So I had all the updated prices for whatever.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah. I mean, and that's what you did is a lot more than 98% of people that sell comics.
Yeah. But the thing about it was, I was like, okay, so there's 5,000 books total. I think it was something like that. And I said, the estimated current value of these bag boarded in good shape. They've been bag boarded. Some of them never been read. I don't remember what the number was like, I'm just going to throw out a number. Let's say 15,000 or, you know, or 7,500. Let's say they were a little more than $1 a book. And also everyone was like, well, where'd you get that value from? And I'm like, listen, I'm not asking you for full value. I want these out of my house. I pulled all the keys. They're not in there. Like, I'm not hiding anything. I'm happy to go through everything with you. I'm happy to take the time for you. And some of the places where it's just like, I had two offers that were exactly the same and they came in 30 seconds apart. And I took the first one and I was just like, yeah, I'm sorry to the second guy. I go, I really appreciate it. You got the same offer. Somebody just beat you by literally 30 seconds.
Sure.
And the guy was willing to come and meet me halfway instead of having me drive an hour or so. So I was like, this was perfect. And I got them out of my house. I got rid of them. I made more space and I seem to have filled it with more toys.
And so that's perfectly fine. Here, I'll be your therapist. And that's perfectly fine. That's perfectly fine.
But it's more curated now. But
as we get older, that's what you're doing. You're curating now instead of just acquiring.
Yeah. And I see an off ramp for me. Like I see it as like, this is my year. I've said it so many times. People are probably sick of hearing it. Like 26 is my retirement year. Like 27 will officially launch the retirement where I'm buying not 300 figures a year, maybe 30 over the entire year.
Sure.
So it's less. So what's got your interest these days?
Well, as most people that know me know, Brainiac from Superpowers is the focus of mine because it was before when I had my Superpowers collection and it was the last thing that I sold. Yeah. And I've been very, very fortunate. I never thought that I would approach the level of the types of pieces that I was acquiring. I thought I was just going to be targeting production and maybe some foreign stuff. But I've been lucky enough where Hakes had an auction of prototype toys. They had a themed auction a few months ago, 3 or 4 months ago now, where I picked up a couple of proofs of chromalin front and back, and a proof card, which I was lucky enough to be able to get. I'm lucking into this. It was a black hole collector who's wasn't online. He wasn't part of any of the communities, and he's building a house. And fortunately for me, I know someone who knows him, who was at his house. He said, "Do you know anybody who would want any of this stuff?" And he has 3 Brainiac pre-production pieces, and my buddy contacted me immediately. And I mean, again, I'm lucky that I'm able to make this work, because it's, other than me buying my car, it's probably the biggest deal I've ever been a part of. Just craziness. So that's one thing. The Iron Man line from Toy Biz in the 90s, the 5th wave that was famously canceled. Toy Fair, trumpeted it, and Dark Aegis, which is a character that is not from the comics. He was in 1 episode of the cartoon, but when I saw the toy prototype, I'm like, man, he looks pretty damn cool. And then he never came out. And I was like, boy, someday I'd love to own a prototype of that. And I know that 100, I believe they said 100 sets of that wave were made, samples off the line. So I knew they were out there. And again, I've been fortunate. The same person that's connecting me with these Brainiac pieces sold me a 2-up hard copy of the figure, a resin hard copy, which is another part of the production process where the figure is twice the size. That's how it's originally sculpted. The Hakes prototype auction that had the Brainiac proofs in it had the original wax sculpted head, which was sculpted by Tim Bruckner. People that collect action figures, especially DC Director, will be familiar with his name. So I was able to win that. I actually got a hand-painted prototype of the figure. And later this year, I'll be getting a graded sample of it, and another 2-up hard copy that comes directly from Tim Bruckner with a letter from him. So again, very, very lucky between networking and, who or whatever. I mean, just, lucky. I mean, the same guy who's connecting me with the Brainiac stuff that sold me the 2-up for Dark Aegis also sold me. He had another friend who had the original painted hard copies of the first 2 Lawrence Taylor starting lineup figures. Huge Giants fan. That's where I get all my gray hair from. So, I mean, I was excited to be able to get those. I mean, it crosses over toys and football, which not a lot of people get to say, oh, these are, 2 of my passions. I mean, unfortunately, I'm passionate about the Giants. I don't know why. I have a video. We had all our home videos digitized from Super 8 a couple years ago. And there I am at 3 years old playing in the snow outside with a giant sock cap on. And I'm like, that's where the stress started from when I was a little kid. So anyway, I mean, I don't have a lot. I have a small Doctor Doom collection. He's one of my top 2, probably my second favorite comic character of all time. The Thing is my favorite, and Doctor Doom is my second favorite. Fantastic Four is my favorite comic. They got me into comics, but I've got it actually on my desk here. Like that's a hand painted first shot of the Marvel Legends Showdown series.
Oh, the Showdown. Yeah.
So I've got a hand painted first shot. I've got a couple of multicolored test shots. I've got a sealed computer game here. I've got some artwork. I've got the Hot Toys figure that came out last year. That's really amazing. So just
You
something extra.
you do curate a very you've posted, by the way, our friend Chris says this is our year, big Giants fan. So
Hey,
yeah.
I wish I could believe you, but I don't.
like Charlie Brown in the football.
Well, I've been telling
Literally.
my friends locally because I mean, my friends, they're all big football fans. We love going out every week and watching the games at one of our local pubs. And, um, they say, "Are you excited? Everything's different this year." I'm like, "Get back to me in week 6. If they're 5-1, I'll get excited. If they're 2-3, forget it. It's the same old crap." So, whatever.
It's a nice. I go back to that. Like you've posted pictures of the way you curate your spaces.
Yeah.
And I think those have always impressed me because unlike the mess that you see behind me, even though I've got some cool stuff, like
I love it.
a mess.
I love it.
But I love the way you set up your stuff. There's just such a clean.
Thank you.
Really,
I get that from my mom. My mom, she was always very fashionable. She was always very stylish, and that extended to how she decorated our home growing up. And I mean, they've had multiple homes over the years, and every home that we've had has been not only decorated very, very well, but everyone is always impressed and complimentary when they see it. So I get that visual thing from her, which I'm very thankful for. My father is very artistic. I mean, I was a musician growing up. You have to be somewhat creative to be a musician. My father was a musician. So I mean, it's all that. My grandfather on my mother's side was very creative. He was also a musician. So, you had that in you almost. I don't know. It's kind of like, I would say it was kind of like when I worked retail. When you go into a store, if an employee is good or if an employee is not good, just by talking to them, because that's retail.
Yeah.
And when I was a retail manager for a couple decades, I mean, you'd hire people, they either have it or they don't have it. So when you have someone that's visual and understands, visual spaces and stuff like that, you either have it or you don't. And I'm not saying I'm professional at it, but I like symmetry and I like setting things up different levels and things like that. I've always liked that.
But and I think that there's something about seeing those. I love when you post it. I do. I genuinely love it because there is a symmetry.
I appreciate it.
There is a layout that you can see. There was a lot of thought into how things are posed, how things are placed, how things are hung, and I really appreciate it. Like I do. I genuinely.
Do you want to know the real reason? Anal retentive obsessive compulsive. That's the real reason. If something is off by a millimeter, I'm going to change it. If something doesn't look right level wise, I'm going to change it. It's just how I am. My boss, when I worked at the city newspaper for probably the last 10 years, I lived in my hometown. And my desk was always neat and always organized. And my boss used to come in every day and she would move pens like at angles and stuff like that because she knew that I had to straighten them out when I came into work that day. So yeah, it's anal retentive obsessive compulsive. That's why.
Well, and then mine is clearly ADHD because there's sitting next to me, there's a Hulk, a Big Bird, Mythic Legion, and a laying down on top of Grover is a John Barenthal Punisher with Hulk hands. They're just like strewn over there. Last thing, so we're getting towards the end of our hour. It's always a good conversation. We're definitely going to have you back. I'd love to dive into the vintage lines with you for sure.
I love talking about this stuff. The joke I make is that, I mean, since my mother passed away, I live with my father, and he's a very good sport when I go on my tangents about eBay and collecting and comics and movies and cartoons and everything. And he's experienced a little bit of it because I've gotten him to watch Daredevil and The Punisher and Iron Man and some of that kind of stuff. And for the most part, he's enjoyed it. But when I start going off on my conversations, he's on Neptune. He's not here. So I love talking about this stuff. It's great to talk, especially with you. We've known each other for so long, and our conversations about toys. And like you said about life, I mean, you're going to have, it's not a receptive audience, but you have an audience that cares about everything that's coming out of your mouth with the same passion that you do. And that's great. I love it.
The one thing I will say is, I don't think I've shown this off on camera before, but you'll get a kick out of it. I think we've talked about it, but I don't think I have. It's one thing that I got that sits on my desk and will not go anywhere. He's got a little dusty lately. Jason Geyer did one of these. So I have.
Really?
Yeah. So I got one of these off of eBay from him to go with my Secret Wars.
Okay, if you'll let me pop off frame for a second, I have something that directly relates to that. I'll be right back.
Okay. Thank you guys for watching. We're gonna go for a couple more minutes before we wrap up as we show off our things that are on our that are either customs or prototypes.
Okay, I'm back. Are you ready?
Yeah.
I bought this from Jason Geyer on eBay to go with my Secret Wars.
And the funny thing is,
yes,
I like that one better because it looks like the cartoon, but I think this looks more like the Secret Wars.
I think his inspiration for sculpting this one like this is from the prototype that they found.
Yeah.
The original prototype, because he was supposed to be in the fourth wave. I'm pretty sure the fourth wave of Secret Wars. And when Jason did his huge reveal, if anyone hasn't read it yet, go and find it. Toy Otter is his website. I think he still has it on there. But when they found out what was coming in waves like 4, 5, and 6 with Dazzler and Mr. Fantastic and all that kind of stuff, I think he sculpted this based on that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you need Hulk and Secret Wars. He was such a huge part of the comic.
Yeah, and I think this one's a little more comic inspired with the face.
Yes.
And it's got the posing, like the curved arms and stuff a little bit.
Yeah. Is yours magnetic?
No, it does not move. Oh, wait. No, mine is not.
He makes them with magnets. It's really cool. So all the limbs attached with magnets.
I got a little bit of movement, but they don't move. Like
probably because of the paint.
Yeah. So, but no, mine's not popping. I'm gonna try to.
But no, yeah, hey, how about Simpatico with that? That was pretty cool. Yeah.
So I was going after that one. I think you won it, and I won that one. So
everything is so freaking expensive these days. Yeah. There were so many of them that he put up when he did like the Power Man and Iron Fist. I wanted that. I wanted the He-Man and Skeletor. They looked great.
And
the Solomon Grundy looked great. I mean,
the Wave 4 superpower stuff he did that were based on the prototypes that they had. The Man.
I won I have the Shockwave, the El Dorado, and the Man Bat.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, they're great. They're perfect. Isn't it amazing now with 3D printing and everything? Everything that we wished we had now can be made.
Yeah. Yeah. And when you get people that can paint and do good work, it's on another level.
Hey, I'll shout out to my buddy Steve Sergioli. He is an awesome painter. He's the one who painted a lot of Jason's stuff. He is a good friend, and he's a master painter of this stuff.
Nice. Well, Chip, thank you so much. Tell everybody where they can find you on eBay, so we can get you some more customers.
I've got it linked to, it's www.starbase72.com. I chose that name because 72 is the year I was born, and Starbase is because that's probably where my mind is most days.
And there's links down below to the eBay page directly. We'll definitely have you back. I do want to dive into Secret Wars and Superpowers with you at some point. So
yeah.
Thank you all for watching. We are taking next week off. I am taking a week off next week. We will be back in September. Yeah. We will be back in September. But go watch Men on Film over on Talib 1980s channel. It'll be a great show tonight. I think they're doing deaths in movies this year for their topic. And we'll see everybody on Tuesday night on Open Mic. Thank you guys for watching.
Yeah. Yeah. Saturday night, we in here. Kastor's Korner. Yeah. 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 Saturday night, we in here. Kastor's Korner. Pull up, step in, yeah, the room feel right. Every week, same crew, yeah, we back on time. New faces, old names, I see everybody. From the chat to the screen, yeah, the vibe stay solid. Hit the comments, let it fly, let it show what you like. Who we talking to next, who we bringing on mic. Every voice matter here, yeah, we building it right. We just here for the love every Saturday night. We in the room, yeah, we live tonight. Say it in the chat, let me know you alright. Show what you love, let it shine, let it move. We collect cause we love it, that's the truth. Korner Live, yeah, the whole crew here. Every comment, every voice, yeah, we all in here. Price don't matter, it's the time that we spend. It's the talk, it's the bond, we connect in the end. Shout out Shout out, weekly viewers, yeah, you know who you are. Been here from the start, helped us take it this far. To the guests on the show, yeah, we thank y'all too. Every combo, every moment, yeah, we building with you. From the likes to the shares, yeah, we see all that. Every comment, every post, yeah, we read all